Men of Reddit, what's the most pathetic / ridiculous thing another man has done in attempt to assert his dominance over you? I used to tend bar in Milwaukee, and there is nothing that triggers self-conscious sweetness more than beer. I cannot tell you how many arguments began with some dude, always unsolicited / unprovoked, mind you, feeling compelled to judge and educate other guys about the beer they're drinking, or not drinking. You drink that piss, you pussy? And it goes downhill from there. No one cares. Drink what you like and shut up. I was at a bar in Stevens Point and the barman whips out a porno mag asking if I want to read it. No thanks. Why not? Are you gay? He looked as if I had offended his ancestors by not wanting to read his porno mag in the middle of a bar. Edit. Wow, this gained some traction. This was about 5 years ago. I was visiting a friend. I lived in London. In all honesty, I don't remember the bar and I've tried finding it on Google Maps, but had no success. We did the Point Brewery tour, then did pre-drinks, then did a bar crawl, because there seem to be more bars than London has pubs. Surprisingly, the worst part of the bar crawl was some traditional Polish berry liquor shot one of the bars served. In junior high I remember this one bully that would get on his tiptoes and bow out his chest like a gorilla and get all in your face whenever he felt threatened. It was such a funny stereotype maneuver. Generally guys purposely bumping into you when you walk past them, especially if they're with friends. Had a dude get mad at me for talking to his girl all the time. I was her econ tutor. I was standing in the breezeway outside a friend's apartment while in college, and a guy coming down the stairs from an upper floor kinda tripped near the bottom of the stairs and stumbled into me. It was clearly super drunk and immediately got aggressive. He was so worked up about being tougher than me for some reason that he started doing push-ups at me while me and my friends just laughed. Fortunately his friends came and apologized and took him back upstairs, but it was definitely the most bizarre assertion of dominance I've ever encountered. I was walking to my car after school and this guy getting in his car just yells at me, "You ugly F, bro." I flipped him off without even looking at him, and he yelled bitch and drove off. How petty do you have to be to tell someone minding their own business that they're ugly? A former coworker. He would just stand in the way and refuse to move. Even if he wasn't in the way he would purposely get in the way. I work in a narrow kitchen, so you can imagine how annoying that could be. At one particular moment I was carrying a bulky 20 pounds box and he decided to do that. I pretended to not see him and barreled into him. He fell over and got incredibly mad at me. Started talking about how I have no muscle. It was pretty funny. It was a display of the most fragile masculinity I've ever seen. I work in a grocery store and sometimes help unload the delivery trucks, and our delivery comes in on what we call cages, like a 6-foot cage on wheels, and obviously one that's full of toilet paper will be really light, and one filled with 2-liter bottles of juice are the heavy ones. The lift that lowers them from the truck has that patent metal floor, and you have to pull the heavy cages hard to get them off. Now I'm 5 feet 8 inches and don't have a lot of weight on me, but I can pull these cages off just fine. But there's a guy who's like 6 feet 2 inches and is always trying to show how strong he is. So whenever I'm helping and he's there, he always insists he gets the heavy cages and that I get the little guy cages. Everyone agrees he needs to grow up. I once knew a guy that would walk over with his chest puffed out anytime someone was talking to a girl and work into the conversation until he had separated the other guy from it. I personally found it hilarious because it was all an act. He's got a girlfriend now and has dropped the tough guy charade. Some people just act the way they think they're supposed to, even when it's not who they truly are. Glad he figured it out. Playing a game of pool at a bar for a beer. Dude missed an easy shot and broke the cue stick on his knee. He then gets in my face to try to intimidate me. I just simple tell him, "Look dude, you are at a locals bar." He shut up and left after that. Dummy. Edit. Yep, most of you are correct. Locals bar meant we all knew each other and had everyone's back. Only time I've had to use that line, honestly, was looking out for this dude more than anything. Did not want to see him get his ass kicked and any of us go to jail that night. Not me, but my dad. My dad has season tickets for the AHL hockey team in town. One day, he was late for a game and arrived to see a teen in his seat with his girlfriend. My dad kindly asked him to move, explaining that these were his seats. The teen responded with a quick "no it's not." My dad then showed him his season tickets and pointed out on the kids' tickets that their actual seats were a few rows up. The kid got up and tried to square up to my dad. My father was just like, "Really dude?" and ignored them. The girlfriend began screaming at him for being an asshole. Long story short, dad kindly asked kid to get out of his seat and kid tried to intimidate my dad for this. I worked in resident life over the summer at a moderately sized college campus. The pay was good, but there were tons of broken furniture and even more piss-stained mattresses. Anyway, I was good enough at doing this that I became sort of an on-site supervisor. The supervisor would tell us what building we would be evaluating/emptying that day, and then I would basically take over as soon as we left. One day, we had a 5-story dorm to go through, and all of the mattresses were due to be replaced. I told the group, there were 7 or 8 of us, that the easiest way would be to form a relay down the stairs. 2 people would go to the rooms on the topmost floor and toss them down the steps to the next level, and then they would toss those down the steps, all the way down until the last 2 people on the bottom would put the mattresses in the truck. And then, every floor, we'd swap off, so people could have the easier jobs. We are moving along ridiculously fast under this system. We cleared out a whole floor in just under an hour, and then the supervisor showed up and told me that, no, everyone needed to carry out their own mattresses because he didn't want lazy people on the team. In other words, he wanted everyone to go to a room on the 5th floor and carry a mattress down 5 flights of stairs to the truck all through the day. He told us that it was an easy job and then proceeded to make a show of lifting up 2 mattresses on his shoulders and jumping down the half-flight steps onto the landing. He did this 2 or 3 times, complete with loud grunts. To this day, I have no idea how he didn't get injured and then berated us for being lazy. He didn't make us jump, but he made sure that he stayed to watch us do it the right way. We finished the next floor by the end of the day. Edit, I'm getting these questions, so I'll clarify here. The quicker we moved, the better. On this campus, and I suspect many others, colleges make money over the summer by hosting summer camps. Residence life, housekeeping and telecom all have to move in a particular order through the dorms in a particular fashion, and adhere to a very tight calendar. This building, in particular, would have had housekeeping come by the next afternoon, and I think the dorm was supposed to be open to summer campers the day after. I was working as an IT contractor for a managed service provider in the late 90s, brought in to help a company roll out new laptops to their sales force of about 1,200 people. We had to image the laptops, set up a persona on them, make sure it worked, and box it up for shipping. We were scheduled to do 4 laptops per person, per day. The first day I did 4 and learned the process. The second day I automated the image process while doing 4, and the third day I did 25. I was let go by the MSP for not following the written procedure after driving up our billable hours. I was called the next day and hired by the company as a FTE. They cut down on the MSP resources to the contract minimum working on other stuff, and I did the entire Salesforce rollout in 12 weeks. Ended up working there 4 years. The MSP tried to tell the company that they owed them a finder's fee since they hired me within X days of me doing contract work there. Pretty much got told to pound sand since they fired me first. I work in the Middle East, and we had one guy who was former Australian military working with us. I was in the car behind, and they stopped at a checkpoint. The soldier leaned into the window to ask some questions, and then shook the hand of the Aussie guy who was in the passenger seat, and then I saw the soldier leaning almost entirely into the car, barely keeping balance on his feet. I had not fucking idea what was going on. We got to the camp a bit later, and he was bragging about pulling the soldier into the car while they were shaking hands, because he was showing who the alpha was. Fuck off, man. He's a soldier with a gun at a checkpoint. Just wave and smile like the rest of us. One guy I know tried to get everyone to whip out their dicks and compare sizes, and honestly it came across as one of the most insecure and childish efforts to assert dominance ever, because dick size has nothing to do with dominance. Also, this is the guy, when we were getting a house, insisted we've all gotta be equals, despite always trying to run things. Once when I was walking on a street, a guy was walking behind me and started to walk faster so he could pass me. I didn't care, but then he just stared at me straight in the eyes and walks into a tree. Edit. Thanks to everyone for the likes, it was a real confidence boost. And thanks for my first 2 silvers.